50.
Yeah, that's great, man. Okay, we're gonna start soon. You have to carry the show because Brett and Frank can't come on, and we are.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that, man.
So you have to carry the show. But before we start the show, I wanna play a song which I've missed so much, but I don't know whether I can do this. So let's
Is
see.
it Britney Spears? Hit me, baby, with my love.
Nah. Welcome to Monday Night Mayhem. All right, we are back with Monday Night Mayhem. I just had to play the guitar of the Pride team because I kind of miss it so much. But we are back as per normal, even though Frank Barca is celebrating his wife's birthday right now. So on behalf of the whole of TFS, a happy birthday to Frank's wife. And Brad had to run for a work meeting. So Suman Mokhtarian, Mr. Australian top team himself, will be helping me to carry the whole show for the
I'll
night
be.
before Anthony Leone comes in. All right, man. Did you watch UFC 170?
Of course I did.
And how is it for you?
And I actually, man, I'm always a fan of finishing. So I was watching a few of the prelims. I was saying they weren't really finishing too much, and then, but I was actually really happy with the main card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, it was a bit heartbreaking to see Maya gas out. I um, really wanted to see more of a performance from Maya. I was real excited when he got that mount on Rory McDonald.
Yep.
But McDonald did a good job to keep his range on the outside, and it was a good show until Herb Dean ruined it.
All right. Before we get into Damien Maya, we'll talk about the prelims for a bit. Rafael Oliveira versus Eric Koch.
Man,
Yep. What I loved about this is this right hand pulling his left hand and going with the straight jab. That was so beautiful, man.
you
Yep.
know,
So
I think it's all those Rufus guys. All those Rufus guys are coming. Duke Rufus guys are coming out with all these different techniques, and whether they've been with them for a little time or a long time, they've got all these unconventional striking, all this unconventional striking that's really paying off. It's awesome to see in MMA. It's really exciting to watch guys like Pettis and Coach and things like that.
yep. All right, next up, I just love one guy on the show, and that's Mike Pyle.
Oh man, that is exactly what I was saying to all my friends when we were watching it. I said this guy has the best mullet in MMA. It's a cute little one, business up top, party out the back, perfect mullet. But you know what? I really enjoy watching him fight. No matter who it is, man. I think I've seen him lose one fight. I think in his last four
Uh-huh.
or something. He's lost one from his last four or one from his last five. He's 38 years old and he's still putting it on. All these young guys, he's smashing them up, man. Mike Parr's legit. Mike Parr's been around for a long time and fought, the who's who. But man, I think Mike Parr is a top 10 fighter.
Yeah, man.
In my
You look at the way he need TJ Wahlberger, the way TJ Wahlberger's head move. Oh my god, that's some sick stuff, dude.
you know what? But
Hmm.
there was one thing I was really looking for from Mike Powell. Usually, Mike Powell has a great killer instinct. So when he sees something, he goes on it. Now, I think that in that third round, he could have put Waldberger away a lot sooner.
Uh huh.
When he had kind of mounted him and he had his knee over his shoulder, he was looking for single shots and they were taking a while. I don't know what was up with that. If he unleashed for maybe 10 seconds, that fight was over. That fight I think went for about 2 minutes longer than it should have.
Maybe it was her demon skull and another one
Yeah,
spinning elbow to be shown off here and let's
that
see
was
if I
great.
can get the finish on yep, this should be the finish. Yeah, in a way I don't know, man. Should Herbdin call it sooner? Like TJ wasn't actually defending himself.
Nah,
So what do you think? So should
Oh,
Herb Dean call it?
in my opinion, that fight should have been over as soon as Wahlberg got mounted and 2-3 strikes were landed.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see Wahlberg even try and put his hands up. He was taking clean shots to the face. So that wasn't even though he wasn't giving him a barrage of punches. That fight should have been over because even in the little amount of punches that he gave, he couldn't defend himself.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, I'm
I
I'm
think
not too sure. If you're
I think
watching the
that's what
give right
ruined the
now.
main event. I think that's what ruined the main event.
Yeah,
He took a bit too long to stop that fight, and
yeah.
then he stopped the round. It made him think, oh, maybe I should have stopped it sooner, and then he got a bit like carried away with the Rousey fight and stopped it.
Yeah, that's what I thought, man. I think Herb Dean got criticized right after the fight. Should have stopped it sooner. Then after that, it kind of influenced him in the main event. But next, I want to talk about James Thompson.
Oh
Oh
man.
my God, this kid is crazy, man. I know Robert Whittaker is training in Australia as well. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, man. Robert Whittaker is actually from one of the local gyms around here, from PMA, Padstow Martial Arts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Mr. Perez runs that gym. It's a great gym, you know. But I think Robert Whittaker's been he's been training at home. I've seen him here. Like I've seen him at local shows and things like that. But I think he's been spending a bit of time at TriStar as well.
Uh huh.
And Robert Whittaker is a great fighter. But one thing people don't realize is Rob Whittaker's very young. You know, Rob Whittaker I think is 23 or 22 years old,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. He's very young, and man, Stephen Thompson is an animal. He had something like a 60-0 record in kickboxing,
Yep.
and I think that it was a very, 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 very big wake up call maybe to Whitaker that you can't rely just on your striking there. Because what happens when you come against a guy who's just as good of a striker as you?
Yeah.
You know, the angles that Thompson throws from are unbelievable. Those karate, they're in and out. He throws from the most awkward angles, but he's got power from it. He's in and out. He's so quick. He's like the white Leone Machida,
Yeah.
except more active.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, man. And the way he celebrates every time, God, that guy is entertaining. And the way
Yeah,
you throw his strikes.
he is entertaining. But what's Robert Whittaker? What was his game plan? Like he said after, because I have him on Facebook. He
Uh-huh.
wrote after on Facebook that he didn't follow the game plan. I'd really like to know what the game plan was, because if you watch Matt Brown's fight
Uh-huh.
with him, the game plan is to make it a rough, dirty fight. Take him to the floor. Utilize your wrestling. Remember, guys, we're in MMA. We can't rely on one thing and one thing only. So yeah, I think Whitaker has a lot of learning to do, but I think his learning has to do in his approach to fights. Maybe sticking to a game plan, whatever that may be, if it was to take him down or something like that. But you need this is MMA. We're not back to UFC 1 where everyone had one style. We need a backup plan, and if we're a good striker, we need a backup plan to be able to take someone down if their striking is better than ours. Can't let our heart get in the way.
Yeah, that's true, man. I'm on his Facebook right now. What Robert Whittaker says is, "Hey everyone, sorry I couldn't bring home the W this time. I didn't follow the game plan and results followed. Just shows my lack of experience still. He was a
There we
tough
go.
opponent and gave me a lot to think about, but I don't even think for a second I'll stay down because I'm just too stupid. Thanks for the support everyone has given me. I'll do you proud yet." All right.
Robert is a cool guy. He's a cool guy. I was a fan of watching him. I actually saw his pro debut
Mhm.
when the first ever, um, the first ever not UFC, CFC Cage Fighting Championships in
Uh-huh.
Australia. First ever local MMA show that I actually made a point to watch. I actually saw Robert Whittaker debut as a professional, and I remember watching him with my brother, and my brother was watching him and saying, "Oh, this guy doesn't look like much. He just looks like a kid," and he was a kid. I think it was fresh 18 or something, you know. And he came out and he just smashed his opponent. I seen him fight again and smashed his opponent, and it's cool to see him where he is now. And I really do wish him the best, and I hope he does do well. But yeah, like I said, he's just got a bit of learning to do, and he said it as well. It's a lack of experience. As much experience he may have had on a local circuit, it doesn't comply into the UFC, in my opinion.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. Rory McDonald versus Damian Maya. Okay, what actually interested me was this. Hold on. Yep. Okay, on the first round, after Damian Maya actually got Rory on the ground, then Rory did quite well defending himself. Then as they were standing up, there was some good exchanges, and I thought Damian could actually stand with Rory, but in
Yeah.
the end, second and third round, Rory just proved the much superior striker than Maya.
Well, in my opinion, like I saw Maya landing some big bombs. He landed a few good overhand lefts and right hooks, in my opinion. But I think it came down to cardio.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Maya, like again, you wonder what people do coming into fights. So it would be good to see more of what people's schedules are like and things like that. I'm always interested to see what someone's training is like, and you could see from the start of the fight, the game plan was to take him down.
Yep.
So he takes him down. He gets a dominant position straight away and mounts him. He probably didn't do as much as he should have from that position, but from the time that they stood back up, I think that his grappling cardio would be up to par. You know, I'm sure one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world in MMA knows how to hold himself on the floor, as far as fitness-wise, you know. But when he was standing up, I think maybe he didn't spar enough or something, because that's what took the wind out of him. It wasn't the grappling on the floor. As soon as he had to get into a few big exchanges, it seemed like he wasn't used to it, and that's where his cardio lacked. You know,
Ah.
um, it's like my brother and me were talking about this with someone else today. When you're an elite boxer and you've been hitting the bag for years, and you've been running miles for years, and you've been running all these kilometers and things like that, it's not hard to get back into that. And it doesn't mean you're not fit. You could be fit for the rest of your life, but put that person in a wrestling class and we'll see how fit they are. Even if they're at an elite level, it's a different fitness. Now, Maya may have been working his grappling fitness a lot, but I don't think he was working on his stand-up fitness.
Ah,
And
I see.
it's two completely different things. Because what Brad was saying last week, he was saying, I think it was last week or the week before, he gets his guys to work on their
Squeeze.
squeeze,
Yep.
you know, and that's a different part of MMA as well. It just seemed like within 30 seconds or a minute of Damian Maya wanting to stand with McDonald, the wind just got taken out of him.
But maybe it's due to McDonald's successful body kicks. I'm interested to see, and you can talk about this technique as well. You can see McDonald is actually stepping up, and he's stepping on Damian's Maya foot before
Yeah,
delivering that vicious body kick. Is that
yeah.
how you do a proper body kick? Do you step? Do you
Not
try to
not
step
really.
on? Yeah.
I personally like to step when I punch.
Ah.
It's an old boxing technique. From what I learned, it was an old boxing technique, and a lot of professional boxers used to step on each other's toes, and they used to throw a punch, hoping their opponent would trip down, but at the same time making it look like they're um they're, they're dominant because their opponent's stumbling around. Now, I use it in sparring a lot, where I try and step on my opponent's feet just to get their timing off and kind of hold them in a spot. You know, I've never seen someone step on someone's foot and then go for a high kick or a body kick or something, which is cool to see. You know, I actually realized he was doing that, and it seemed to be a ploy of his to get to that position and step on his foot, and I think it was real cool. You know, yeah, it seemed like a tactic of McDonald's, and it was working. It was great.
Yeah, and he was doing very well. Actually, in the first round, I saw that McDonald like to use the butterfly guard often, and I don't think that McDonald could use the butterfly guard effectively on a five-time world champion, and this is what happened in the third round. He just elevates him so simply.
Yeah, well, see that's the point of the butterfly guard. You know, the butterfly guard in MMA is to not to receive less damage and be able to elevate your opponent. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's another thing of where your cardio will lack. In the first round, you will not be able to do that to Damian Maya.
Yep.
You would not be able to do that to Jacare. You would not be able to do that to these elite level guys. But now you see a kid who I don't even know what belt McDonald is,
Uh-huh.
but or even if he's got a belt, but he's got fatigue has set in so hard that he's making basic things look real cool against a world champion grappler. You know, good credit to McDonald. He did very well. I would have liked to see McDonald pick up the pace in that last round when Maya had nothing left. You know,
Yep.
that I don't like. I learned from a very start, don't play for points. I always like to go for the finish, even though in my last fight I had to go for points. I had to go for a takedown because I had nothing left. I can understand that, but looking at McDonald, I know he had a lot left in that tank. You know, he could have turned it up at any time, and there was a few times when I thought he was going to finish Maya if he turned it up. But Maya had a good chin on him, and he did well.
Yeah, and that's the thing that have been criticized about Rory for the past few fights, especially the fight that started it all was his fight with Jake
Jake
Ellenberger.
Ellenberger.
Yep, but with now, I don't know, Dana is saying that he's much more impressive. I still don't think that he is still that entertaining because I feel that he could, as well as agree with you that he could have finished Damien Maya. But where does he stand in his division right now with GSP out?
I personally, I put I don't put him in front of a few guys. I think who's Tyron Woodley versing next?
Not too sure, but if I'm not wrong, Tyron Woodley should be free.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like Tyron Woodley has a fight coming up, and he's cool to watch. You know, even though he might gas out a little bit, he goes for it.
Yep.
You know, and those are the fighters that are easily. At the end of the day, UFC is a business. You want to be able to market your business.
Oh, he's fighting Carlos Condit in UFC 171.
Here you go, man. Carlos Condit is always relevant in that division.
Yep.
So I think the winner of the Carlos Condit Tyron Woodley fight is more in line to a shot at Hendricks and Lawler than that performance from McDonald. You know, it was a safe performance
Yeah.
from McDonald.
That's the thing.
And I think when you're shooting for your dreams, how often can you play it safe? You know, you got to do something. You got to do something apart from the rest of the crowd.
All right, man. I'm All right. Wait. Okay. Anthony Leone says he will call me in 10. But anyways, we're going to move to the. All right. As I was watching UFC 170 for the whole freaking night, whether it was the press con or the weigh-ins, almost every guy was like being paid to say that. Oh, Patrick Cummins is the best fighter UFC never signed.
Oh,
Patrick
oh.
Cummins is this. Joe Rogan is saying that. Aaron Simpson is saying that. Mark Munoz. You know, all these guys are coming up. Even Heath Sims, Evolve Wrestling coach, came on my Facebook, says that, oh, this guy is a beast. Nobody wants to fight him and so on and so forth. And that's the result. Suman, what's happening?
Man, I think that was the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. Like, okay, maybe he got nervous. Maybe this happened, but there's so many maybes in it. Man, I'm telling you right now, that guy is not the best guy to ever be signed by the UFC. And I can guarantee you, he will not last more than 2 fights. He will not last another 2 fights. That guy, he knew how to do one thing really, really, really well.
Yeah.
And that was talk shit. You know, like, personally, I saw him hitting the pads, right?
Uh-huh.
And then pads sometimes aren't a good measure of someone's skills. I know a lot of guys in my gym that are terrible on the pads, but you tell them to spar and they will light you up like you've never been lit up before. You know, I saw him hitting the pads and I was like, man, I've seen Cormier hit the pads, seen how hard Cormier hits, and I think this guy's gonna have a bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother goes, "Oh, what do you reckon? Who do you reckon is gonna be the better wrestler?" And he started asking me questions about grappling, and I was like, "Don't worry about anyone's grappling." I'm like, Cormier's gonna knock this guy out.
Yeah,
I could
no,
tell
the
by
thing is,
the
people
way he was
forget.
hitting it.
the thing is, people forget that Daniel Cormier knocked out Antonio Silva in Strikeforce.
He knocked him out stiff.
Yeah.
He made him look silly. And now, Antonio Bigfoot Silva, maybe he's not the best striker or anything like that. But man, he hits you, you're in trouble.
Yep.
You know, and that was very proven against us over him. And no, I don't think anyone's knocked out Silva the way Cormier did.
Yes.
You know,
That's true.
Cormier put him out. You know, he's a legit striker, and at 205 pounds, he looked a bit quicker. He did look a bit quicker. He didn't look as sluggish. But personally, I didn't see much of a difference in his body. Now, Cummins, on the other hand, he did what he had to do from a promotional side. But I don't think that he helped his stock. Now, if he was trying to get into the UFC, that's one thing. But Patrick Cummins came into that fight already having the fight on 10 days' notice. You don't need to do any talking. You're already the underdog.
Yep.
Don't hurt your image. What he went out there and did is look like an idiot. Like, that's the only way I can put it. If he stayed quiet and didn't say anything and went in there and said, I'm going to give Daniel Cormier the fight of his life, I'm 4-0, and all these people said all these stuff about him, we would still give him respect. You know, because as a fighter, you have to respect anyone who steps in a ring. Now, but what he's gone and done is he started bad-mouthing him so much and making fun of Cormier and acting like he was Cormier and crying and joking around and disrespecting Cormier in more than one way. And then he got knocked out. Like, I don't hear Patrick Cummins talking now.
Patrick Cummins wasn't even in the post-fight conference.
Yeah, I haven't heard a word from him, and that's embarrassing. Don't talk shit unless you're gonna back it up.
No, the thing I hate so much is that UFC was trying to build up the hype train, and people who are actually seen as very legit in the sport, even trash talkers like Chael Sonnen and Mark Munoz and Joe Rogan was so hyping this guy up. But right now, if they were to tell me that, oh, there's this another guy who's coming up in the UFC, he's the best fighter in the world, I'm not gonna believe them anymore.
Man, I tell you right now, I've got two guys in my gym that would have knocked him out as well. Like, I don't care if he's a Division 1 wrestler or whatever he is. He tried to stand with Cormier and he got knocked out.
No, you saw in the starting round, he actually tried to shoot for a takedown. I feel that was sluggish as an NCAA
That's
two-time.
right.
Yeah, like,
That's
there's
right.
nothing
I
on this guy, man.
100%. I agree with you 100%. He went in there and he went in there lazy.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, for an NCAA wrestler, man, those guys are the elite. You know, the Division 1 wrestlers in America, if you see any of them, if I've seen a few of them when I was in Thailand, I saw like one or two guys. They look a class above. They are so quick, and even as a heavyweight, it just seemed like he was scared to take a proper shot. You know, what happened to the old conventional shot that everyone takes? He just kind of came to wet blanket him and throw his arms over him.
Yep.
You know, it
Like-
just seemed like he had a trouble getting his hands on Cormier.
Yep. All right, I think I'm gonna bring Anthony Leone on since he's ready. Then I want to have his opinions on Patrick Cummins and Daniel Cormier as well. But anyways, talking about NCAA wrestlers, I've watched Jake Butler, one FC wrestler who's in the Evolve Fight team, and he shoots much better than Patrick Cummins. He's fighting in light heavyweight, and I think Jake Butler is gonna beat Patrick Cummins as well. Anthony Leone, are you on?
Hello?
Hello, is Anthony here?
Yeah, this is Anthony.
All right, great. I have the Bellator bantamweight contender who's gonna fight on March 7 against Eduardo Dantas. But before we talk about your fight, Anthony, since you are here, I have Suman Mukhtarian from Australian Top Team. We have been talking about Daniel Cormier versus Pat Cummins. Did you watch the fight?
I didn't watch the UFC this weekend.
Oh, all right, man. Since you didn't watch the fight, I'm just gonna go quickly towards Ronda Rousey versus Sarah McMahon here with Suman, and then we will talk about you. All right.
Okay, no problem.
All right, Suman. Ronda Rousey and Sarah McMahon at the end of the fight. Liver shot. Was it
Yeah.
a early stoppage?
Yeah, I think everyone will agree that that was an early stoppage. We're not in the referee's position, and I've said that before. But as fighters, we like to. I've never been a fighter to be like, oh, I'm real thankful that you stopped that fight early.
Mm-hmm.
We want every possible chance to come back and fight on. It seemed like Herb Dean, as soon as she went down with that liver shot, he came to stop that fight. Let her take 2 or 3 big punches. We're in a contact sport. You can't expect us to pussy out so quick.
Yeah, that's true,
Excuse
man.
the French.
Anthony, I have known that you have been very experienced in the mixed martial arts scene, and you have tons of fights with you. If I'm not wrong, you already have 19 fights. Have you had a liver shot?
Um, not in a fight, but in training, yeah, and those things they hurt pretty bad.
They hurt pretty bad, as in they really suck, as in it's it's uncontrollable for your body, and you will just go down the ground.
It almost like it almost paralyzes you for like a second. But I mean, actually saw the Sarah McMahon
Mm-hmm.
and Ronda Rousey fight, and yeah, it looked like it hit her, but like she was like back up, almost grabbing onto like a single leg, like a second later. So I think in that case, if that was a male fight, I don't think they would have ever even came close to stopping that fight. And maybe I think being a female fight, or maybe just being Ronda Rousey, they kind of stopped out way prematurely.
Ah, that's an interesting point, man. But now with the liver shot on the way, I don't think they will do a rematch right now. Cyborg just said that he's gonna drop to 135. Dana actually put down saying that Cyborg have to come to the UFC and fight a few fighters first before fighting Ronda for the belt. Suman, what's your thoughts on that?
Um, I don't know because Tito Ortiz kind of ruined that by saying that if Cyborg dropped to that weight, she would die. Now I don't know why you would say that because as fighters we know our body and things like that, but I don't think that she cuts that much weight that it would kill her to make 135. Now Tito is out of the picture, and all of a sudden she can make 135 again. So I think in the UFC, if the UFC wants to, as a promotion, if they wait around too long, this fight might never happen.
Yep.
So maybe they need to cash in on it now as a business, because as we've seen, you let things go on for too long, and Anderson Silva might break his leg,
Yeah.
and you can't have a super fight. Now, what happens if she goes to another organization, has a fight, and smashes someone else, goes to another organization, smashes someone else, and Ronda Rousey loses the belt? That fight is not relevant to me anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
What is relevant in a fighting sense, but we all, like, as much as I like watching Ronda Rousey fight, and I think her armbars are cool, and she's evolving as another MMA fighter, I want to see Ronda Rousey get dethroned. Everyone wants to see that. It's like, when's John Jones gonna lose? When's Anderson Silva gonna lose? As much as it's a heartbreaking thing, we still want to see it just to experience it. And I think that if the UFC wait around for too long, then Rousey might break her leg in a fight, and we'll never see that fight. And the UFC don't cash in then.
Yep. All right, Anthony, you're back on. But that's true. Anthony, really quickly on the women's division right now. What we have is Alexis Davis and Kat Zingano is still out on the sidelines. Do you think UFC should? Oh, Anthony Leone is out. Okay, Suman, do you think UFC should cash in right now, as we would say? Because I don't think Alexis Davis and Zingano will be fighting soon.
Don't worry about Alexis Davis fighting soon. Alexis Davis won't be able to touch Ronda Rousey. Right? Taking nothing away from her.
Yep.
Hey, Anthony. Take nothing away from Alexis Davis.
Yep.
She had a great fight with Jessica I, but I think Ronda Rousey is on a completely different level. Um, and that is an understatement. I think Ronda Rousey's amazing. You know, and if you watch her hitting the pads and things like that, she's getting better and better and better. It's not like even though her last fight went to 4 rounds for the first time or something when she fought Misha Tate, she looked better than
Yep.
ever. You know, she's her cardio is improving, everything. Man, Alexis Davis won't last around with Rousey, so I don't really want to see that fight. Now, Kat Zingano at the same time is injured. She's got a few problems, and like who knows when we're going to see her back. So I think it is relevant right now to throw Cyborg in there. Otherwise, when are we gonna like, who's gonna fight her? Alexis Davis can't fight her. Kat Zingano can't fight her. Cyborg saying she wants to fight her, write a contract saying that if you die, it's your own fault.
All right. Before we go into Anthony Leone, I would just like to plug that I've just wrote an article about the state of women MMA, and I've got Australian top team Amy Adams to comment on the state of women MMA right now, and it will be out soon. So, Mr. Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
All right. Anthony. Okay. What we know right now is that you are replacing a guy who defeated you and who is supposed to fight Eduardo Dantas for the title. How are you feeling right now, being that replacement rather than being that number one contender as seen as the Bellator bantamweight contender?
I mean, it's definitely a great opportunity that I got, and now I get to fight for the title, so I feel pretty good about it.
All right, that's great, man. We watched Eduardo Dantas smash through Marcos Galvao, and I have a feeling that you are going to go and stand and bang with Eduardo Dantas. What do you know about this kid, and how are you going to stop him?
I know Eduardo Dantes is he's a good black belt in jiu-jitsu. Um he's aggressive on the feet. Good stand up, but gets a little crazy sometimes. And overall, I mean, he's good, man. He's champion, so but it's gonna be a tough fight, and but these are the fights that we kind of want, and fighting for the title, and that's what every fighter wants to do, is fight for best in the world and try to win some world titles. So super excited about this. Been training my ass off for so many years now for this opportunity, and I can't wait, man.
Yeah, talking about training, how's the training preparations going on? Who have you been sparring, and what have you been prepping for Eduardo Dantas?
Well, so usually, I usually do my training camps at Phuket Top Team, but as soon as I got the call like a little over 2 weeks ago now to fight Dantes, and I just knew it was something that I knew I had to go back to New York and work with my coaches and do some specific game plan and stuff. And starting my career out here, I have a lot of friends and training partners here. So I've been having numerous sparring partners, but been working with my main coach, Primo Belarus, for, day in and day out now. And it's going great, man. It's going really well. I adjusted to the time zone. That takes like a week here, It's because it's 12-hour difference, so it took me a little bit, but everything's going great now.
All right, man, that's great. So, we know that your brother is also fighting in March as well in ONE FC. So, are you like separated from your brother, or are you training with him right now?
No, Andrew's actually still in Phuket. He's training real hard right now. That's a huge fight for him. I wish I could be training with him, but there's so many guys at Top Team, and we have our boy Don Carlo Klaus, who he's a New York State wrestler and MMA fighter who fought for Bellator and Strikeforce, and one of our good friends who's helping Andrew progress through this camp and find adjusting all the holes in Andrew's game and stuff. So if Donnie wasn't there, I wouldn't have left. But me, Andrew, Donnie, we talked about it before I left, and we all thought it was the right move. And we thought that Andrew, Andrew has the great sparring and training partners there, as well as coaches too. So.
All right, talking about Phuket Top Team, I know Suman Mokhtaran is also affiliated with Phuket Top Team, and there have been a lot of stories about this rivalry between you guys and Tiger Muay Thai. I'm very interested. Would you like to disclose a little bit on that?
I mean, uh, I don't even I hardly. I don't really know about the rivalry. The people say this to me,
Uh-huh.
and I've almost been there for 2 years now, and I mean, well, I'm always. I don't know. I don't really see it too much. I mean, I know there's definitely some little stuff, but I kind of stay out of that. And you know, I don't know, man. It could be bad. It could be good. I'm not sure.
All right, and talking about that, how confident are you going to take the belt from Eduardo Dantas on March 7th?
Sorry, repeat. What was that?
How confident are you going to be the
Oh.
Bellator bantamweight title? I have seen your fight record, and a lot of people don't know you much here, as a lot of guys here don't watch Bellator that much. But you have fought tough guys. You fought uprising star Hanan Barao in WEC 49. You fought WSOF bantamweight contender Georgie Karankayan in Bellator earlier.
Yo, all on 2 weeks' notice.
Yep.
Man,
you
a lot of my. There was 1 year. There was 1 year in my career, and I wasn't really taking it very seriously at all. And I wasn't even, to be honest, I wasn't training. Maybe like 4 times a week. Like seriously, wasn't training at all. And I took a lot of fights on short notice, and that's what really hurt me in my career. That's where all my losses came from and stuff. Oh well, except Rafael Silva. But yeah, I fought all these guys, man. But I'm 100% confident that I could beat Eduardo Dantas March 7th, man. I feel like I'm a really tough fight for him. We have a really good game plan and strategy to beat him, and he's good. But man, I think at this level, everybody's really good, and it comes down to a lot of it is his strategy. It's something I learned in my last fight. Rafael Silva just had a better game plan than me, and I feel like, man, if I perform and I have the right strategy, and I go out there and complete that strategy, I'll be walking out with the belt around my waist.
All right, man. That's great. Before I let you go, topic of the day is sparring partners or even brothers willing or unwilling to fight each other in the cage. If you were given a big money opportunity to fight your brother in any organization, would you do it?
I can't fight your family. That's weird.
You ever want to watch them fight each other? Just go down to Phuket Top Team and watch them spar.
Sparring is a different ball game when you put something on the line, whether it's a title or something in front of public view. It's much a different feeling, isn't it?
But in saying that, I have my own brother as well. When we spar, we go harder than a fight. Because we understand each other, and because I don't want my older brother to get one over on me, and he doesn't want the little brother to get one over on him. Man, sometimes it doesn't turn into a real hatred fight, but it turns real hard. So there is that thing that you're fighting for.
Is that the same case for you, Anthony, when you were sparring with Andrew?
I mean, I'm the older brother. I mean, Simon's the younger brother, but so he's in he's in Andrew's shoes. And of course, I never wanted my little brother, beat me. And he's probably sick and tired of me beating him at something all his life. So it's like, man, every time I train with him, he freaking brings it, So I need to be on my toes.
All right, man. Anthony, if you are in contact with your brother Andrew, tell him I would love to have him on my show next week.
Hit him up on Facebook.
I've been trying, man. I've been trying for a few weeks now. Like he comes onto my Facebook for a few comments and stuff, but when I PM him, he will never reply.
Yeah, he's bad at that. All right, I'll let him know.
All right, Anthony. Thanks for coming on the show. We wish you well, and we hope that you get the title in Bellator and come back to Phuket Top Team and train in the Asian scene.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.
Best of luck,
See you at Phuket Top Team.
All right, see you, man.
I'll be there in June.
All right, cool, man. See you.
Hey, man. Bye.
Okay, bye. All right, Anthony is off now. Suman, talking. Let's continue on the topic of the day. Sparring partners or even brothers. Like you were saying about yourself back then. Frank nearly fought Ken. in the UFC. Suman, you there?
Sorry, yeah. Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that again?
Yep. Back then, Frank nearly fought Ken Shamrock in the UFC. So
Yeah.
I think that's the closest we almost get to a brother and brother fight. You were saying things about it's getting personal and ego and so on and so forth, but the closest we had, I think, is training partners. The first publicized one was John Jones
John Jones and
and
Rashad
Rashad
Evans.
Evans. Yep. You
Yeah.
think that would happen a lot right now?
And I'm not sure. Like, see, I think uh, at a UFC level, if there's two training partners on the same level, arrogance can sometimes take over a bit. Now, um, Rashad wanted the belt, and John Jones was the person standing in his way. Um, I can't really comment too much on their situation, but like I think it's gonna start happening more and more often. We saw Melvin Gillard, who um, who was training partners with Donald Cerrone. They fought each other, and there's been a few other. We saw Gilbert Melendez and Diego Sanchez. They used to train together, and they fought each other. I think every situation is different. I think some guys go into it with different mindsets and things like that. But I couldn't comment for them. But I just know how I would feel about it.
So I give you the same question that I gave Anthony. If you were offered a big fight, a big money fight against your brother Ashton in whatever weight category, in whatever promotion, would you do it?
Man, for years actually, I've been joking about this very thing, and I've said it in front of so many people that, man, if they offered for us to fight, I'll fight you any day in a ring. Let's do it. But really, no, I wouldn't do it. If you wanted to see, like I said with Anthony, if you wanted to see me fight my brother, you can come. You can pay your membership at my gym, or you could just come in for a casual visit and watch us spar. Because when we spar, everyone says to me, um, we go a bit hard, a bit too hard. I wouldn't fight my brother in a major organization because I know that if I was the champion, or if I was on top, my brother would never come in the way of taking away my dreams. And I wouldn't want to take away his. Anything could happen in a fight, but I could never, uh, I would never be satisfied with the victory over my brother.
I think it's
It
almost
ha-
similar to the case of Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez. Daniel actually dropped 205 because he doesn't want to fight his own sparring partner.
Daniel Cormier is Cain Velasquez's wrestling coach.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big thing. Like, and that's a good thing from a coach because, like me, I look up to all my coaches a lot. My jiu-jitsu instructor, my kickboxing instructor, I really look up to them. And if one day we were in the same weight division, I could never ever find myself competing with that person. And I'm sure if they were able to drop the weight, they would. And we know that Cormier was, and that's the showing of two good teammates.
But how
You know.
about your guys in the Australian top team? What if one of your guy wanted to fight each other in a major promotion?
Well, we had a bit of a scenario earlier in the year. It wasn't really a scenario. Well, we have the brace tournament that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
That's linked with ONE FC. Well, with that, we have, in my opinion, two of the top guys in the light heavyweight division in Australia. We have Randall Ray, 6-1 as a pro, and then we have Sam K, who is devastating, and he's one of the favorites for the brace tournament coming up. Now, what do? They asked me to put one person in front and nominate one person to be in the show. They wanted one person from each of the major MMA teams in Australia. So do I pick Randall or do I pick Sam? Now I spoke to the promoter, and the promoter was really actually happy for me to have two guys in it, and he said he would put them at opposite ends of the bracket, and if they both reached the final, then they would fight each other. But what happens then? Do I corner one person or do I corner the other person or do I? Because I corner all my guys, um, and like I'm one of the strength and conditioning coaches at the gym. What do I do? Do I train one person and not train the other? Do I train them both and let one go to another gym to train for 2 months? It's a really awkward thing. Now I spoke to the guys, and they were fine with it. Sam K and Randall are great friends. They were like, man, if we get to the final, let's go for it. But at the same time, no matter what happens, it's bittersweet. Yeah, it's going to be heartbreaking for one person, and it's going to be a great night for the other person. Who do you celebrate for? What do you do? I didn't like the idea of it, and it happened in a way that it turned out all right. When Randall went on a different path and fought for another title, which he won on the weekend, and Sam is going to be in the race tournament. They sorted it out on their own, which was good. But I'm not. I don't like it at all. And looking back to it now, it's something I learnt. I'm never ever going to pin two guys in a tournament where they could face each other. I don't like it. I don't like it in jiu-jitsu comps, let alone an MMA fight. I think that I don't think it's right for teammates to fight because I know if I was in that position, I wouldn't want to fight a teammate of mine, whether they are in the same weight division as me or whatever it is. If they're in front, if they've got the title on a local circuit, man, they deserve that title. If we're up at the top, if we're in 1FC, if we're in the UFC and they've got that title, I'm just gonna have to wait my time. Let me get paid or move to a different organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I truly understand your point, but us fans, we want to see what we want to see. If there is a chance for Machida versus Anderson Silva, I want to watch that fight. I don't care if they are friends, right?
I'd love to watch that fight too, but I'd love to. I don't mind other teammates fighting each other. It's just how I am because me as a gym owner, I try and keep my guys on a big team base. I love my team, and I like my guys to be real close, and I'd feel funny seeing two guys that I really respect fight each other. I see them fight every day in the gym, and my guys go hard, and that's enough. I should put more videos of that up. Like if I'm a featherweight fighter, if I had another featherweight fighter in my gym, or that's the best in the world, or whoever they are, it's not out of being scared of them or anything like that. It's out of respect that they earned their spot, and I'd have to wait my time until I was there.
So am I correct to say that if 1FC sign you, you will not fight Ruthless Rob Lucita?
No way in the world. I'll fight anyone in the world except for. Let me tell you something. Funny thing that you say, man, Rob is like my brother. He's taught me a lot. He's guided me in the way of a lot of things. I really look up to him, and I wouldn't want to fight someone like Rob out of respect. Now the thing is, I've seen two friends fight each other. Rob might fight me or something, but me and Rob are in two completely different positions. Now, Rob is number one in Australia, number one in Southeast Asia or wherever it is, and I'm not on that level to fight him. Now, if one day they said to me to fight him or it's my contract or something, Rob deserves to be where he is, and I have to earn my way through. I don't think I need to earn my way through fighting Rob. I have too much respect for someone like him to fight him, and I find him exactly like he's one of my teammates. I spar with him. If someone wanted to watch me and Rob fight, they can come watch us spar because Rob beats the crap out of me. And he teaches me a lot. I wouldn't. Like I said, anyone in the world I will fight. Whether they're a pro or an amateur, if the fight gets offered, I'll fight anyone in the world if they're willing to fight me. But if someone asks me, do you want to fight Rob Lucida? I consider Rob Lucida one of my own brothers, and I fight him, a teammate of mine, and I'll have too much respect for him. and I don't think anyone wants to see me lose to Rob Lucida.
Okay, well,
But nah, Rob's cool, and I'm sure Rob will be on the same base. Like I said, Rob deserves to be where he is. Me and him are two completely different stages of our career, and I'm sure you're going to see Rob fighting for the title in ONE FC soon. If ONE FC want to sign me up, they can sign me up, and I'll fight all the people on the undercard, and then one day when Rob wants to pass over the torch, I'll hold the title once he's done.
okay, well, I guess every other gym owner or gym coach or manager would have the same thoughts as you as well. But talking about Rob Lucita, I saw on Facebook just now when the director of social media Jason Lim says that who can guess the main event of May, Manila ONE FC in Manila gets 2 free tickets, and I saw you posted on the comment saying that who cares, Rob is on the card, so it's a confirmation that Rob will be on the card in May.
No. See, I might have worded it wrong. What I meant to say was, who cares as long as he's on the card?
All right.
As in, if he gets on the card, who cares what the main event is? You know, I was my first comment to that was gonna be Rob Lucida versus the world. You know, and then I was gonna write my next comment was gonna be Rob Lucida versus someone I wanted to see. Personally, I think Rob Lucida deserves to fight some cool guys, but I really want to see Rob Lucida smash Shinya Aoki.
Oh
Right.
man.
Shinya Aoki is one of my heroes, and like I love him. Like me as a jiu-jitsu guy, I love watching him fight, and I think that would be cool, and I think that could be a main event to ONE FC.
No, that would probably be the main event because the thing is, Aoki just came out of an unconvincing win over Cody Stevens, and
Steven.
yeah, Lucita just win convincingly over Lion Takeshi. So it makes a very good fight. Whether ONE FC wants to put it on, I will watch that.
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure a lot of people will pay to watch that.
Yep.
You know, and they'll go to that show. Now, this is actually a really good thing, and I'm sure you have a great opinion on it. Do you think it not? I know Rob Lucida, and I know he'll fight anyone in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know anything about his contract. I'm just
Okay.
gonna say I don't know anything about his contract, but I'm sure somewhere in his contract it says that for every fight that he wins, he might get a pay increase or something like that.
Okay.
You know, you're not gonna stay on the same money for 2 years or however long he signed.
Yep.
Do you think it's fair for him to fight Shinya Aoki for minimal money right now?
Okay. What I feel is that Rob is in Australia. He's already a big name, but
Huge name.
yeah, he's a huge name in Australia. But in Southeast Asia, even though with the success of Rebel, he is not still well known with the casual fans. Of course, the MMA hardcore fans would know who Rob Lucita is. If
Yeah.
if he took that fight on minimal money and he win Aoki by a knockout, dude, his stock will rise so high, and I think that will be a fair fight because Shinya has already engraved his name in the Southeast Asian market after joining ONE FC.
Yeah.
So I feel that it's fair that Rob took the fight with minimal money. What do you think?
I think that like I said again, I'm not gonna comment too much. I don't know how much he's getting paid or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think fighters should disclose too much about what they get paid. And I'm not someone to stay here and say how much, but I think that fight is a high money fight, a big money fight. I think it's he comes into the organization, he has one fight. Let's say he loses, and his pay remains the same. Does his stock go up or does it go down?
It
Like,
depends.
what-
It depends on the fight, man. If Rob puts on a good fight against Shinya, his stock goes up whether he wins or lose.
Yeah, but see, some companies don't look at that. Some companies will look at it and just say, you know, hey, you lost one fight, you lose your next fight, you're out.
That kind of
You know,
company sucks.
Yeah, you know, and you know, it does suck. But nowadays, a lot of people just look at your Sheerdog record and go off that. And it's not cool. I think, in my opinion, if that fight was to happen, um, the company needs to look after the fighter. Obviously, um, if a fight like that happens against a top level opponent like Shinya Aoki, I think that they should do something in place to take care of the fighter more. You know, it's only fair. It's new rules in ONE FC. There are the soccer kicks allowed, and it is a different feel. Maybe some octagon jitters. I know Rob would be ready to fight anyone, but for maybe, say for instance he's fighting to fight Shinya Aoki. He trains for 3 months and he gets 8 grand or something for a loss. You know, it kind of it doesn't really do anything for Rob's family. You know, it doesn't really do anything for that. It will increase his stock, but he's with ONE FC for 2 more years. What happens then? Are they going to just keep him on that minimal money even if he has a great fight? They're going to go off their contract.
No,
You
I
know,
think
and most,
no, I think that's the organizers. I mean the organization prospect. I want to bring back this discussion back. To Daniel Cormier versus Patrick Cummins. Patrick Cummins was getting a baseline UFC fight. I don't know how much he would get for a win bonus, but he got 8,000 for getting beat up by Daniel Cormier, and his stock wouldn't rise with the way he fought. If Patrick Cummins were to put in a good fight against Daniel Cormier, I don't think UFC will be paying him 8,000 for the next fight. Wouldn't that be true, Suman?
I think no
Right.
matter what happened, the UFC would be paying him 8,000 for the next fight.
No matter what happened, even if Patrick Cummins put on a very good fight with Daniel Cormier and Daniel Cormier won by split decision or something.
Unless Patrick Cummins won that fight, his pay would not have increased by a cent.
But
And
I feel that's bad, isn't it?
that is bad. That is bad. That is bad. Fighters don't get rewarded usually. But see, at the same time, I'm sure there are backstage bonuses that we don't hear about.
Mhm.
You know, I've heard about some fighters. I'm not going to name the fighters, but I've spoken to a few fighters that fought in the UFC, and they said that they would receive phone calls some days and be like, "Yeah, go check your mailbox," and there'd be money in that mailbox.
Yep.
You know, and they do get those extra things. You know, a lot of fighters do complain about it, but then they do get looked after at the same time. We don't know what happened in the back. If Cummins got an extra pay for all the media he was doing and things like that, but it's good to see. It's good to hear that from fighters. You know that they do get those extra bonuses. If Rob does fight someone like Shinya, and he even if he loses and puts on a great performance, he does deserve to get a bonus. But at the same time, I'm sure Rob will sit there and say, "Hey, if you're gonna give me the money, give it to me." You know. But at the same time, I know for a fact,
Uh-huh.
right? Rob likes to earn his money,
Yep.
and he doesn't find a loss earning money. He finds that if he's not tired by the end of that fight, you know, he hasn't done his job for the promoter. Rob is as much of a promoter's dream as anyone can ask for. You know, he says to everyone that if he's not tired by the end of that fight, then he cheated his promoter. And if you watch any of his fighters, Rob goes and lays it all out on the line. And I can guarantee if he fought Shinya Aoki, he would go in there with no hesitation, and he could knock out Shinya. He very well could, and
A lot of people have knocked out Shinya if no one knows about
yeah,
it.
you know, he could knock out Shinya, but at the same time, another thing, let's remember, Lion Takeshi had never been finished before
And Rob
Rob
finished.
Lucida.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know. Rob Lucida might catch Shinya Aoki in a bulldog choke. You know, it makes for a good fight.
All right,
it
but
really-
but the whole I feel the whole discussion is about MMA being a sport and being an entertainment, and I feel it's right now it's a bit more towards the entertainment, because the thing I love about MMA is that for a fighter to gain fans, you don't have to win. You just have to put on a show, and a great show in the cage. You show that you want to beat the other guy up, it doesn't matter. Look at Diego Sanchez. His stock rise like crazy, man, after that fight with Gilbert Melendez. And this is what I feel organizations should look upon. It's not about fighters keep winning. You look for a great example, Ben Askren. He keeps winning in Bellator. What happens? In the end, Bellator doesn't even want him anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah, right. But if you have guys like Diego Sanchez, dude, they are the promoter's dream. They are the fans' dream. Fans will come and watch and pay them. Even if they lose, it doesn't matter. They just want to watch them fight in the
But
cage.
you know who Diego Sanchez is versing next, right?
I'm not sure, man.
He's fighting Miles Jury. Now,
Okay.
Miles Jury, I think, is like 3-0 or 4-0 in the UFC now.
I think that's 171 as well, isn't it? UFC
Yeah,
171. Yep.
and he's going. Miles Jury is stepping up, but as much as you say his stock is rising,
Mm-hmm.
he just fought arguably the number one contender or the number one
Yep.
guy in the world, and now he's gone to outside the top 10. So as much as you say his stock is rising, he's not. He's not fighting another top 5 opponent, top 10 guy. So what is the UFC doing? Are they paying him the same amount of money to fight someone lower level? In my opinion, from what I've seen, when the UFC are paying a guy top dollar, like John Fitch, for example, and he wasn't putting on exciting fights, and he had 1 or 2 losses, they got rid of him. Now Diego Sanchez, first ever Ultimate Fighter winner, and when he loses, you know, he still puts on an entertaining fight. How long will they keep him around after having those entertaining fights? What happens if he loses to Miles Jury? If he loses his next fight after that, is he out? So his stock could quickly rise, but he can just as quickly fall.
That's
You know,
true.
and,
I agree
and
with that.
there's where the loyalty between the promoter and the fighter is a bit iffy. Because as much as you're their son and you're their golden ticket, you're their golden boy, one day, the next day they forget about you and they could not care about you. And that's a sad thing about these organizations. Like I said, we train 30 hours a week. I don't know, I'm just throwing 30 hours a week, I'm guessing. We train for so long, every day. We sweat, we bleed, we get injuries and all this stuff. And in the end, we do it for ourselves and for our families, but we do it for the promotion as well. Without us, there would be no show.
Yep.
You know, and I think that they forget about that sometimes. Dana White comes out sometimes and says, "Oh, this person is not as big as the UFC. One fighter is not as big as the whole show, so they couldn't give a shit about them." But in my opinion, every fighter is as big as the show, because every fighter that you upset, you could upset the next person. And what happens if they go on strike? You know, what happens if the UFC locker room, everyone gets together and goes, "I want to go on strike because I want to get paid more."
Yep.
Now, what do they do then? You know, I think I'd like to sit around like a whole bunch of UFC guys and not know that I'm like them, not know that I'm there, and just see what happens and what's going on behind the doors, because some guys seem to be real happy and say they're real happy, and then other guys like Nate Quarry come out and say they're pieces of shit to the UFC.
Well, talking about real happy, someone's already real happy. Gilbert Melendez just agreed UFC matched Bellator contract. I was hoping to see Eddie Alvarez versus Gilbert Melendez or Michael Chandler versus Gilbert Melendez. Now, Gilbert Melendez will be the TFF 20 coach alongside
man.
Anthony Pettis.
That was the best news I heard today.
Yeah.
No, that was, you know what, as much as I'd love to see him fight Alvarez or anything, Pettis is like the coolest guy for me to watch fight. I love watching him fight, always doing something new. And then you got Gilbert Melendez, who just puts it on the line, he brawls. You know, I like Nick and Nate Diaz, he's from their team, he trains with Jake Shields, all cool guys, you know. And I love Tough. You know, Tough is what got me into MMA, watching that first season of Tough. And for them to be on Tough 20, you know, it's going to be cool to watch. I'm really excited for that season. I just can't wait to see what weight they do or where they do it and everything. I think that fight's going to be awesome, you know, because I think Gilbert Melendez will take the fight to Anthony Pettis.
Uh-huh.
And where does it come down to? The skill, the speed of Pettis, or does it come down to you know, the raw power of Gilbert Melendez, his brawling style where he can knock anyone out, and yeah, it'll be. I think it'll be a great fight. That will be my fight of 2014.
It's gonna be a 5 round war. I
Yeah,
believe
in
there
your
is gonna
opinion.
be a 5 round war, and it's gonna be close, and the judges are going to have a difficult time judging them.
In my opinion, I think those two guys cannot have a 5 round war. You
Yeah.
know, I think there's too much power, and there's too much speed, too much skill for someone not to slip up for 1 second. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
Anthony Pettis, you blink and he'll put you out. Um, and same with Gilbert Melendez. You know, he really likes to get in the thick of it.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
likes
and
to stand inside the pocket and bang, man. I
yeah,
love watching him fight.
and that's the thing. You stand inside the pocket for too long, man. If you never know that he could have lost that fight to Diego Sanchez in
Yeah.
that third. He got caught with that uppercut. Um, it's cool to see if he has to change the game plans against Pettis, because, like I said, if there's a person that can stand in a pocket and bang more, it would be Gilbert Melendez. I think he'd be the more powerful hands fighter, but the speed of Pettis is just something cool to watch. I'm sure he's going to try another Sanchai kick and try and knock him out and do something real cool, you know. That's going to be an awesome fight to watch, and that's the fight that I'm real excited about watching, because I really want to see Anthony Pettis defend his title. Um, and I hope he gets better and we see the best of Anthony Pettis, you know.
All right, before we go on to upcoming events, I just want to plug an upcoming event on the first March. I'll be going there. Thanks to one FC fighter Melvin Yo, who's going to be driving me to Kuala Lumpur to watch F3 Championship before I go to back to Kuala Lumpur again to cover one FC War of Nations. Basically, the main card is Jun Minion versus Richard Cominol. Jun Minion from Ultimate MMA Academy and Richard Cominol Muay Fit Philippines. Co-main event, Amir Rizaev, Muay Fit. Nick Lee is out. Nick Lee is from Tiger Muay Thai. And he just injured somewhere, some part of his limb. I don't remember, but he just posted it on Facebook. And someone from Tiger Muay Thai will be replacing him for the fight. So, upcoming event, Ultimate Fighter China. It will be on next week. And the main event is, let's see, Dong
Uh,
Hyun Kim versus John Hathaway. Suman, your thoughts on that?
Man, I'm excited to see John Hathaway get back in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great fighter. He's pretty tall for a welterweight fighter, and we seem to forget he has a win over Diego Sanchez himself.
Yep.
You know, he's a big relevant guy. I think he hasn't fought in like 18 months or something. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, due to his injuries.
Yeah, he hasn't fought in a while. Man, he in his comeback fight, he's fighting Stun Gun, who's a problem for anyone, and we've seen it in his last fight. Even when he looks tired, he can knock someone out. When he knocked out Eric Silva, I think it's a cool. I really like the main event. I don't really like watching Stun Gun fight too many times,
Mm-hmm.
but because he has a bit of that judo lay and pray
Yeah.
technique. But you know, I think it's gonna be a cool fight, because John Hathaway is actually a decent wrestler for an English guy.
Yep. Who do you think is gonna win? We look at Hathaway got very good record as well. He defeated Diego Sanchez, of course losing to Mike Pyle. Then he fought. I feel not the top guy as well. Dong Hyun Kim fought Paulo Thiago. He fought Damien Maya, CR Bahaduzada, Eric Silva, Carlos Condit, Nate Diaz. Dong Hyun Kim has fight more top contender fighters than John Hathaway himself. So on paper, it looks like Stun Gun's gonna go for the win. But will Hathaway actually pull off an upset here?
I'd like to see him pull off an upset, but in my opinion, I think we're going to see Stun Gun by the unanimous decision. You know,
All right.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think that's what's going to happen. You know, Stun Gun is a classy guy, and he has fought top level competition, and it is a big ask of John Hathaway to come in there and fight a guy. You know, all credit to John Hathaway for getting in there with someone like him straight off the bat. But yeah, I think Stun Gun's gonna grind him out for this one.
All right. another interesting fight. I'm a fan of this guy, Mr. Nem Fan.
Yeah.
I love his body punches, man. He can really strike, but he have been losing quite a lot, and he's fighting Von Lee.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, that's the thing that we were just talking about. Nam Fan always puts on an exciting fight, and he's tough as nails. Man, he can take some shots and he can take a beating, and he'll keep walking forward and he'll keep trying. And that's kind of, if you see his UFC record, I think it's something like 2-5
yep.
or something, you know. And I think that's a guy that the UFC have been like pretty generous to keep around, even though he's been losing. They've kept him because he's put on exciting fights. So I think that's the only way a fighter's stock is rising. But I think it's going to be a real exciting fight because let's remember Vaughn Lee had beaten Yamamoto,
Yes.
and he was the first person to submit him. And uh, Vaughn Lee actually trained the Phuket top team a while back, and my brother had trained with him, and he talked up Vaughn Lee so much. He said he's a real cool guy, and he can catch anyone. And the way that my brother and other guys were talking about, a lot of other guys speak very, very highly of Vaughn Lee. He might not have the best record, but if you sleep on Vaughn Lee, he will catch you. And I know that Namfan is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but Vaughn Lee's tricky, man, on the floor. He's real strong, and I think that if the fight hits the floor, it could go either way. You know, I think he was a purple belt 2 years ago. I think he's a brown belt now, but he's great. He actually holds a record. No one knows about this. I'm pretty sure he actually holds a record for in the tough trials.
Mm-hmm.
He tried out for tough 1 year, and the UFC had this thing where for every submission they give you $100 when you do the trial when you're versing someone. And I can't remember how many, but he's actually set the record for the most submissions in the amount of time that they had against whoever he had. You know, he's a cool guy, and I'm gonna go for Vaughn Lee on this one, and I think the loser leaves town.
Oh, all right. But if you have been active in the Twitter scene, Nem Fan is on a streak of betting against fighters. If you know what I mean, like all the fighters he picked will lose since I don't know. I think since the last 2 years. So if you guys are on Twitter, check out his Twitter page. I tell you, it's freaking hilarious. Another guy that we know that you've seen in Rebel FC, Alberto Mina. He's going to debut as well
Man,
next week, and he's fighting Zach Cummins. How do you think he will stand against this fight?
there is one guy I'm really excited to see in the UFC. I remember I was actually in the same locker room as Amir Roblesida and Alberto Mina were all in the same locker room
Mm-hmm.
for Rebel FC. So I remember looking at Alberto Mina, and I remember seeing his opponent, and his opponent Glenn Sparv
Uh-huh.
was huge,
Yep.
massive, you know. And then I was looking at Alberto Mina like, what's he gonna do? This guy's massive, you know. How's this fight gonna go? And some of the guys were, you know, talking him up and saying he was real good. And I know he's from Epic. Epic is a great MMA gym,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really intrigued to see him fight. And he KO'd Glenn Sparv. Like, he gave him that knee and put him out. You know, he's a, I think, third degree or fourth degree jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a judo black belt. He has 10 fights, 10 finishes.
Yep.
This guy is a killer, not only on the ground, standing up. This guy is the real deal, man. Like, I've watched his highlights, and I've watched a few more of his fights. This guy is going to be cool to watch in the UFC. And Zach Cummins as well, you know. I personally think he's going to KO Zach Cummins or submit him in the first round. I think he's going to walk through him. You know, I think they're on two completely different levels. I was real excited, and I was thinking, when's Alberto Mina going to go to the UFC? And finally, we're going to get to see him in the UFC. I think he's going to be real cool, real good guy to watch in the UFC. And he's a super nice guy. You know, I got to speak to him after the fight for a bit, and he's really nice. And it's good to see another guy who fought in Singapore, fought at Rebel FC, get recognized right after that fight and go to the UFC.
All right, man. That's great. I want to plug to end the show, I want to plug that I we just published an article on Amirul Shafiq, and it's going to be shared on a mainstream social media platform soon. The Real Singapore. How about you, Suman? You have any plugs for the Australian MMA scene or your Australian top team?
Sorry, I don't know what you mean by plucks.
Plugs meaning promote hype in Australia.
Oh, like shows
Yeah,
or people?
anything, whether shows, fighters, anyone you wanna give a
Man.
shout out to.
Oh, okay, well, if we're gonna give a shout out, I'd like to give a shout out to my 5 boys that fought on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 professional MMA fights and 3 kickboxing fights. I had my 16-year-old young gun Trent Nino Loco Gerdham fight against an older, more experienced opponent and just walk through him. This kid's 16 years old and he's teaching me techniques in class. You know, he's teaching me all these Sanchai kicks and spinning back kicks and you know what's funny? It was the first time I'd seen him fight,
Uh-huh.
and he kept asking me, organize me a fight, and I'm like, man, you're not that fit, you know, you're not this, you know that, and then he's like, just put me in the fight and you'll see, you know. So I kind of put him in the fight and he really impressed me. This kid, he was really impressive. The way he went out there at such a young age and he was so mature about it. You know, he went in there and he put on a great performance. I had Alex Sloth Georges, who went in and crushed his opponent, kept walking forward, smacking bombs on his guy. Then I had my brother, professional MMA bantamweight fighter. He fought 7 kgs or 8 kgs over his weight. He fought at 67.5 was the weight limit. His opponent came in at 69.5 overweight. And my brother is a bantamweight fighter, 61 or something. He fights, and my brother was, I think, 66 on 66.6 or something on fight day. His opponent came in overweight. His opponent had a lot more kickboxing fights, a few MMA fights, and my brother TKO'd him in the first round quite easily. You know, he'd gone for a big leg kick, spinning back fist, picked him up, dumped him, mounted him, and just stopped him via elbows. We had another fighter, Muhammad Alavi. He had a great performance against a kickboxing champion and smashed him up. And then we had Randall Ray, who's now the new Commonwealth champion. He fought a guy from Wales and knee-barred him in the first round. He's a light heavyweight, 6-1 as a professional now. So I'd like to give a shout out to my 5 guys. We have a few shows coming up. 8th of March, we have Nitro with Sam K fighting for the Nitro light heavyweight title against Api Hamara. We have Ali Kuchak as well fighting against Ryan Haketa at a welterweight contest. And the week after that starts the Brace Tournament. The Brace Tournament is obviously linked to 1FC, and it's going to be a good insight to guys getting into the Asian MMA scene or Singapore's MMA scene, you know. So a few guys from our gym, we have Darwin Sagarit, William Namoa, Sam K, and Ali Kuchak as well, all fighting in the Brace Tournament. And you never know, if they win their tournaments, they could end up in 1FC or in the Singapore MMA scene. So a lot that's happening in Australia could affect our fighters coming over there.
Yeah, man, there's a huge boost of Australian fighters in Southeast Asia scene right now, and I would love to see you guys start fighting here more and more. Next week we'll be talking about Kim at versus Heavyweight, the aftermath of Kim versus Heavyweight TUF Ultimate Fighter China finale, and of course I want to talk about UFC 171. That card is freaking stacked, and we will come back next week. Yeah, that card is freaking stacked. It has been. When was the last time UFC had a stacked card? I think the last time was Anderson Silva and Chris Whitman too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. You know, it's gonna be good. I was watching that. Like, you know what? That card went under the radar, kind of. You know, you don't realize how stacked it is until you read the whole thing.
Yep.
And there's a lot of great fighters on it. I'm really excited to watch that. Is that 7th of March?
Yep. That is 2 weeks from now, and
Yeah.
I think it's the same date as Bellator's Anthony Leone versus Eduardo Dantas.
Man, don't sleep on Anthony Leone. You know, some people may count him out because he did lose to Silva. But man, like I said, I've seen him train at Phuket Top Team, and the guy is legit. You know, he's a great wrestler, great grappler, and he's scrappy. You know, he's good. I think he can win. I really do believe he can win it. And with a great team like Puka, top team mine is back, and him training in America now, he's got a good blend. He's a real good guy, and hopefully everyone can get behind Anthony Leone because, like we know, he's training in Thailand. He's in that scene. His brother fights in ONE FC. Let's get behind him, and hopefully he comes back with the Bellator gold. He's a good guy for coming out of his way and jumping on the show today, and I wish him the best of luck. He deserves it. He's, like I said, a really, really nice guy, and I think he can take it out. You got to remember, he did fight Henan Barao.
Yeah.
He has fought top guys. Whether he won or lost, he's been there with them. And you know what? He's given them a hard time. You watch any of those fights. You watch the Henan Barao fight. He was taking it to him. He was having a good fight with Henan before he got caught in that armbar.
Yep,
But,
that's true in the third round, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
In WEC.
Anthony is an incredibly tough guy. He is tough as nails, and there's no quit in him. He's gonna go in, he's gonna give it a good performance, and he's very, very, very focused on this fight. So I think we're gonna see a great fight from him. So Bellator, UFC coming up, then we got ONE FC coming up, and hopefully in a few months down the track we'll have Rebel, and you never know. Maybe you'll see in Singapore, you might see me and my brother fighting on the same card.
That's sweet, man. But all I can say for now, March is a good month for MMA. And it's a
March
great
is an
month.
awesome month for MMA.
All right, man. Thanks for being on the show, Suman. I want to have you next week, and we will talk about UFC TUF finale.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.